A lot of people have dreams, but most of them keep dreaming. I also had a lot of dreams, but I fulfilled most of them. And I will tell you how I did this, and maybe I can inspire you to do the same. It all started here. After my studies, I got the chance to sail, do an Atlantic crossing on a sailing boat. So, of course, I did. And the feeling to be one with nature on the ocean, dolphins playing with the waves every day. We saw killer whales, we saw whales, we caught our own tuna. And also the feeling in your night shift that you're one with nature, one with the ocean. You are able to think about things you never think about. So I came back and I had this new dream. I wanted to do the same, but then with good friends, and not only the Atlantic, but the whole world. So I came back, and I was so enthusiastic, and I went to my friends and a couple of friends from my studies, and yeah, they never sailed before, but they said, wow, that sounds nice, and your parents, they have a sailing boat, so why not go sailing this summer, it's almost summer, with your parents' boat? So we did, here we are, that's me, I was not so grey at that time, and my friends, in my parents' sailing boat, and after 2 weeks sailing to France, we had this dream together. I shared my dream, and it became their dream as well. So I went to my parents, well, I'm going to sail around the world for 2 years, and they said, well, okay, that was a shock. I said, but you have a sailing boat, and maybe we can borrow it for 2 years? And they said, well, okay, well, it's already a shock that you're going away for 2 years. And then they said, well, we saved a lot of money to buy this boat, and it's our little child. So if you want to fulfill your dream, you have to save your own money, of course. So we did. We started a bank account with the 4 of us. We went sailing every year on this sailing boat of my parents, because the guys couldn't sail yet, and we we needed to practice. So we saved money for 4 years, and then there was a really important moment. We had to make the decision. There was money to buy a sailing boat, and then we looked each other in each other's eyes, and we had the feeling already that, and 2 friends pulled out because of personal reasons. Then I looked my friend Arjen in the eye, and we said to each other, okay, well, and now? 1 hour later, we decided to do it together. And 4 months later, we bought our sailing boat in Curaçao, in the Caribbean. And 9 months later, we sold our house, we quit our jobs, and we both had girlfriends, but did it stop us from going? No. We jumped into the plane to Curaçao, to our new home for the next coming 2 years, Pegasus. This is how she came out of the water, with a whole coral reef hanging on it. This is somewhere halfway. We had a lot of problems. It was 3 hours sleep every night for 3 months. But after 3 months, this was the end result. And we were able to sail around the world, to fulfill our dream. We were sailing these beautiful oceans. And here in Holland, you have to pay taxes to drive your car on the road. And these beautiful oceans you can use for free. And if you know the important role of the oceans, almost 70% of the oxygen is produced by our oceans. And almost 50% of the CO2 is absorbed by the oceans. And they have the greatest biodiversity. If you know this, we wanted to do something back. And we did. We left as ocean reporters, and we visited all kind of projects, ocean projects, along the way. So, World Wildlife Fund, Red Cross, a couple of projects of the MSC, the Marine Stewardship Council. That's the one and only sustainable fishing brand in the world. So, please, if you buy a piece of fish, please only buy MSC certificated fish. So, really interesting projects we visited. That was a nice project of Nan Hauser in the Cook Islands, the whale lady. Google her, she's great. And this is Sea Shepherd, you all know, but we visited a project in Galapagos, and they were fighting against the illegal catch of shark fins. That's a really big problem. If you're interested, check the documentary Shark Water. It's really interesting. Well, so we left as ocean reporters. Of course, we had a lot of media attention. That was our goal, to tell about the important role of the oceans. And this was our trip. You know, all Curaçao, I guess. And the first stop was Panama. So we went through the Panama Canal, up to the Galapagos Islands. And then we did this 21 days trip. So, of course, we couldn't drop anchor on 4 kilometers of depth. So we sailed 24/7 and 4-hour shift, 4 hours sleep or working on the boat or cooking. And this trip was 21 days, non-stop. And we didn't saw any land, no boats at all. But finally, we arrived in paradise. And this is really paradise. I don't think I have to say more. But here we were. The fruit was falling from the trees. There were ladies with flowers in their hair. They were like big mamas, but we didn't care. We were in paradise. We traded a fishing hook for a bread. And we stayed in this paradise for 7 days. It was fantastic. But of course, it was not only paradise. Here we just survived a Hurricane 4 storm. And the whole mainsail was ripped apart. And we had to sail through the piracy area near Somalia. We did it in 2010. And 2010 was the year of the most attacks. So we survived, you can see. And finally, we sailed safely into the Red Sea. And there was one of the most special moments of the whole trip. We were anchored up and we were diving there. And there was a dolphin coming to us. And we thought, wow, a dolphin alone? Normally they live in groups. So that was strange already. And then we saw why she came to us. This is this dolphin. You can see here a fishing line. And there was a fishing line in her rostrum. That's the name of a mouth of a dolphin. All the way back to the tail. And she couldn't swim properly. So we helped her and we put her tail in the dinghy, in our rubber boat. And we cut the line. And I made this picture. And I looked in the eyes of one of my most favorite animals, and it was so special. And I tried to convince her to open her rostrum. Finally, she did, and I was able to take out the fishing line, and there was some blood, but there was also freedom. And we came out of the water like, wow, what did we do? We saved the dolphin, and it was like a mesmerized. But the moment became even more special 15 minutes later. This group of dolphins, they came to us, and we were able to swim together, and we were anchored up a lot of times in bays and everything. And when the dolphins came in, they were not interested when we tried to swim with them. And now we were able to swim in between them. I made this picture. And so he or she came back to thank us, but to thank us. We did this to her. We threw in the fishing line. We throw in so much plastic in the oceans. This is a picture we made somewhere on the Indian Ocean, but almost every week we saw islands, little plastic islands like this. We sailed through an oil spot for 2 days. It's crazy. So it's a really big problem. And also, we ended our trip finally through the Mediterranean. There's a lot of plastic as well. And there was finally the homecoming moment. Here we arrived after 2 years in Amsterdam on the other side of the central station. And I couldn't talk for 50 minutes. It was so emotional. It was weird to see everybody again. And we had the best party ever until 9 o'clock in the morning. You can imagine. But then there also, we sold the boat. It was an end of a dream. But the dream continued a little bit. We wrote a book about the trip and about the oceans. And we sold our footage. We filmed everything to a Dutch national television. So we had an 8-episode TV series. Prime time on Sunday evening, so that was really cool. And we were able to tell about the oceans. And after that, I couldn't get this image out of my head. All the plastics in the oceans. It's a really, really big problem. We caught a lot of fish, but we caught more plastic than fish. Even the most tiny part of plastic was on our fishing hook. So it's a big problem. All the plastics here, the stomach of a seabird, they think, oh wow, this is nice piece of food, but it's plastic and it will not go away. So they have this feeling they are full and they die. This is the end result. So I really wanted to do something about it. And the plastic soup was 10 years ago, not so famous, so it was 2012, I guess. And then I saw this TEDx movie from Bojan Slat, a student from Delft, and he had this project on high school, the Marine Litter Extraction Project, he called it. And he had this great idea to clean our oceans with arms and a platform you can see here. So I thought, wow, this is this is great. This is simple, but such a great idea. So I called him, and I asked him what he wanted to do with this project. And he said, well, I just started aerospace at the University of Delft. First, I want to finish my study, but I also want to do once a feasibility study to see if my project is really feasible. I said, well, I can help you, and I would love to help you. And so we started. I was working on the project for a couple of days a week, voluntarily, of course. We started a foundation. We called it the Ocean Cleanup. Now I think most of the people here know what the Ocean Cleanup is. And after a couple of months, we were working 70 hours a week already, and he quit his study, and but the project went viral. That's really good, but we received 1,500 emails sometimes a day. What to do with that? So that's Bojan. He said, well, okay, we do a complete media stop in a startup. Can you imagine? So a good idea, because first we wanted to prove the project was feasible. And of course we needed a bigger team of volunteers to answer all the emails, but also to work on this feasibility study. But we also used this moment to start our first crowdfund campaign. And we raised almost $100,000. And that was good. And we were able to fulfill this dream and make this this feasibility study happen. And finally, after 2 years, of course, we kept on working voluntarily. After 2 years, we were invited all the time, all around the world, by people that wanted to help us. And here we are in California. We met the founder of the Plastic Soup, Captain Charles Moore. But we also worked very, very hard. And finally, this is the 1 year anniversary in our Dream Team office at the University of Delft. And finally, after 2 years, it was Bojan could tell the world that it was feasible. Here, Bojan is in New York and telling everybody, well, we are going to do it. And at that moment, we opened the doors for the media again. And we started our second crowdfund campaign, as you can see here. We raised, this is a screenshot of my laptop, 2 days before the end of the campaign. And as you can see, we raised already over $2 million. And that's donation crowdfunding, so this is really something. After half a year later, so I worked 3 years on the Ocean Cleanup. For me, a dream came true. I'm good in startups, and this startup was successful. So my dream came true, and I needed to look for another dream. So I started my own company. I bought a really old sailing boat, ready for the scrapyard, and I gave it a new life. And I'm doing charter trips in summer with that boat. But I also still want to fulfill my dream to clean our oceans. The Ocean Cleanup is doing great. Bojan with his team is doing really, really great. This is last year in Utrecht, in Holland. He's telling the world that he will clean the oceans within a year. And a couple of weeks ago, this is San Francisco, and the Ocean Cleanup boat is towing the barrier towards the Great Pacific Garbage Patch. And at this moment, they did the last tests, and at this moment, they are towing the garbage patch of the barrier to the garbage patch, and today or tomorrow, they really start cleaning our oceans. So I'm really proud, and I couldn't imagine. I looked at this Golden Gate Bridge 4 years ago, together with Bojan. I was there. And we were dreaming about cleaning the oceans, and now they're really doing it, and a lot of respect for them and the team, and I wish them all the luck. But if you know, 95% of the plastics in the oceans comes out of the rivers. This is the I in Holland, and this is the plastic. It's crazy. It's a big problem. So I met these 3 girls from Holland as well, and they started this new idea and project called the Great Bubble Barrier. And it's amazing. It's just a bubble barrier on the bottom of a river. And the current is coming always with the river, with the plastic, of course, towards the sea. If you block it with a barrier on the bottom, the plastic will hit the barrier on all levels. And because it's in an angle, it comes to the shore, and it can be collected and recycled if possible. So this is a great idea. And they asked me to organize a crowdfund campaign last year for them. And it was a successful campaign. We raised 50,000 euros. That was a success, but even better, they won 2 weeks ago the Green Challenge, and they won €500,000. So finally now they can quit their jobs and go full-time on the Great Bubble Barrier. So I think you will hear a lot from this project. It's a great idea. And I'm still involved a little bit in this project as an advisor. So I want to end with this Walt Disney quote. If you can dream it, you can do it. I'm sure I have more dreams in life, and I will try to fulfill them, of course. But when I had my dreams, a lot of people were skeptic. Of course, I took some risks. I invested some money now and then. Maybe I have a bit of an ego and I was lucky or something. But I worked very, very hard to fulfill it. And I'm happy. And I'm sure not everybody can say that they are happy. So I really hope more people will follow their dreams and look at yourself and goals in life and just go for it. If not, it's fine, but please don't complain. Thank you.